Brian Cole, thanks for stopping in. I haven't seen you in a couple of weeks. Plenty of track meets going on. You seem to send athletes just about wherever you can to get them the most reps as possible. Am I looking at it right?
Yes. Yeah. During the regular season, you really want to get into a rhythm. You want to kind of refine some things in your individual approach to whatever your event is, then get reps in those events. But then you also want to seek out the best opportunities to not just compete, but to move yourself up the descending order list for conference qualifying, for taking some swings at national qualifying. So it's kind of a combination of doing what you need to do to continue to perform your best, but also doing it in the right context so that you qualify for events where you can go and perform your best. And usually those events are our championship events. So yeah, we go all over the place trying to do that. But there is that kind of perception at times that track and field is an individual sport, and we very much approach it as a team sport. So this weekend coming up is actually a really exciting event for us, going to Chicago, where we bring our whole team together, regardless, men, women, distance, throws, jumps, and everybody's in the same venue, same time, one track meet, and really it kind of gets that vibe of a championship competition, and we want to do that prior to going down to our indoor conference meet, so that we get the team more together, aware of what each other are doing, supporting each other in that and sharing in that, and we feel like that will help us when we do go to our conference meet. But this past weekend, we probably the busiest weekend of the indoor season so far. We had our multi-event athletes go down to Albuquerque, New Mexico. Braden Holcomb started off really well, PR'd, best opening competition he's had in that event. So number 2 all-time school history, and I know he was a little disappointed. He wants to get that record, but he had a really strong start. And then Brian Hubbard started right off where he left off last year, which was really encouraging to see. And then we had 2 freshmen, Kayla Beach on the women's side, Wyatt Crow on the men's side, get going. And in that event, so they got their first collegiate multi, and that was a very encouraging start as well. And then we sent some of our more developmental athletes or people that needed reps up to Boulder. Usually a pretty easy trip. We had to, get through some snow a little bit, but, Colorado in wintertime, so it happens. But we were grateful to be able to have that opportunity and compete up there. And then we also had about 750 high school kids come on base here at USAFA this past weekend for our annual high school invite, which was pretty exciting. And so that was a great opportunity. It was some of the best marks in the country occurred this past weekend for high school track and field right here in the field house. So that was really cool to see. But also just to have 750 athletes out there. I think we had about over 600 spectators came through the door. And so just getting a group of people to come on base, showcase our facility, showcase our institution, and get a little bit of exposure for the Air Force Academy is pretty awesome. So busy weekend and this past weekend, but really excited to look forward to one track meet coming up here in Chicago this weekend.
And hopefully a little less snow as well. I do want to talk to you about the heptathletes in Braden, because when it comes down to conference, they kind of go first. Do you see them as athletes who can get you some momentum?
Absolutely. Really, that first day, the multis get going. And so that's a key for us. But also those athletes, they're really good at a lot of events. So they become really important pieces to your track and field team, because after their multi, they're able to come back. And, Kayla Beach is a very strong sprinter and long jumper. Braden's a really good pole vaulter, high jumper. You name the event, he's pretty good at it. Then you look at the schedule and you say, okay, so, these are the 5 events he has to do. And then once that's done, if he's not too tired, where else can he come back? And so Braden will pole vault for us and potentially high jump on the final day at the indoor conference meet. And Kayla's kind of unique that way, being a freshman, because she does so many different events, but she's also highly capable in all of them. And so those are pieces you want to build around moving forward. And so when you look at our freshman women's class in general, it's a very good class. They're off to a really good start. And so that makes us excited about the future. But yeah, Kayla's a big piece of that.
Final question I have for you is more of a team meet here in Chicago. As a coach, are you starting to maybe look at where your lineup or where you can tweak it as you head to conference?
I start looking at that lineup probably in August, and then after your first indoor meet, you kind of see if things are actually even August is probably a little late. I think as soon as last year's meet's done on the bus ride or plane ride home, you're starting to say, okay, this person's a senior, this person's a senior, this person's back. Then you look at the other teams. Okay, that person, we think they're a senior. I don't know if it's not the Oklahoma State 7-year college things. I think they're graduating, but we we can't control that. So we focus on our group and say, okay, this is going to be our projected lineup. Then you try to keep your people improving, keep them healthy, keep them excited and engaged in what they're doing. But yeah, Chicago, it's a 200-meter bank track, so we're looking forward to getting to sea level. So that's going to be good for our distance runners, but also getting on the 200 bank, which is good for our sprinters. And then really the level of competition. When you look at it, Wisconsin is the host, but Oklahoma will be there. Minnesota, a lot of Big Ten schools: Minnesota, Indiana, Purdue, Michigan State, Notre Dame. So it's going to be a highly competitive meet for track and field. And so it's great to go out there with Air Force, and whether it's the mile relay, the high jump, the weight throw, the mile, you name it, we're going to have Air Force entries in there competing really well against some of the big name schools, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Should be fun. Thanks. Safe trip, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.